Welcome back. In this lecture, I'll give you an introduction to Databricks Unity Catalog. We'll try to understand what is Unity Catalog and what are the features and capabilities that are offered by Databricks Unity Catalog. So let's start. So here is a diagram that represents everything that Unity Catalog has to offer. So let's start with this box in the beginning. This is your Unity catalog, or you can say your metadata store, or simply meta store. So in Databricks, we use Unity catalog as a metadata storage or for storing all your metadata, all your project metadata. So within Unity Catalog Meta Store, you can create catalogs. The first level of object that we can create inside the Unity catalog is known as catalog. And these catalogs are to separate things. You can create catalogs based on your project, like you can have project 1 catalog, project 2 catalog, project 3 catalog, one catalog for each project. Or simply you can create multiple catalogs for your environment. So I have taken an example for the environment. So let's assume for one project you have 3-4 environments, like you have dev environment, you have UAT environment, you have QA environment, and you have prod environment. So within the Unity catalog we can create separate catalogs for each environment, right? And within each catalog you can create your databases. So let's take example for the dev catalog, and same things can be repeated for UAT, QA, and prod. So within the dev catalog means your dev environment, you can create databases. In Databricks, databases are also known as schema. Schema and database, these two terms are synonyms in Databricks. So we call it schema or we call it database, both are the same. So within dev catalog you can create as many databases as you want. For example, you want to implement medallion architecture, so you might want to create 3 databases: bronze database, silver database, and gold database. And within each database you can create the actual data objects. For example, within the silver I can create tables. I can create n number of tables within the silver database. I can create views. I can create functions, user defined functions, and I can create volumes. So these are 4 types of objects that are supported inside the schema. So I can create different types of objects. I hope you already understand that tables are of 2 types in Spark: unmanaged tables or external tables, and then managed tables. So you can create unmanaged tables, you can create managed tables, you can create views, you can create user defined functions, and you can also create volumes. Volumes are also of two types: unmanaged volumes and managed volumes. Tables and volumes are 2 types of objects to store data. In real sense, you can store data physically inside these 2 types of objects. In tables, your data is stored in the tabular form as a table. So you will have some table metadata, like what is the table name, what is the columns in that table, what are the data types of all these columns, and you can load data or insert data into those tables, but data is physically stored in data files behind those tables. But when you want to access them, you access them through the table name, through the table. Volumes are another type of data storage objects which allows you to store files, data files directly. So within a volume you can store data files. It is not like table. You don't need to create tables. You can simply store your data in files. Why we have 2 types of objects, tables and volumes? Because Spark supports storing data in form of tables And Spark also supports working directly with the data files. You can save data in Parquet file or CSV file or maybe in Avro files. So you can directly save data as files. You can directly read data from files. So if you have that kind of requirement where you want to directly work with the data files, not with the tables, you can use volumes. So you can create volumes, and inside volumes you are allowed to save data files directly. And these are also like tables. These are also unmanaged and managed. Same idea works here. For unmanaged volumes, if you delete the volume, Spark will delete only the volume metadata and will leave the data files as it is. With the managed volumes, when you delete the volume, Spark will delete the metadata. It will also delete the volume directory where data is stored. All the data files are also removed. So same idea, like unmanaged tables and managed tables also extends to the volumes. Hope that is clear. So in Unity Catalog or in Unity Catalog Meta Store, we can create different catalogs. Within catalogs, we can create a schema or databases, and within a schema, we can create tables, views, functions, volumes, all that we can create. Other than that, Unity Catalog also allows you to create locations, or we sometimes call them external locations. These are nothing but directories. We learned about DBFS, right? So we in DBFS we mounted directory, the cloud storage container, as a directory on the DBFS, right? Similar things can be done with the Unity Catalog. You may have a cloud storage layer where you created some container, and you can bring that container inside the Unity Catalog's management space and create external locations or locations, right? And once these locations are created, you can use them like directories in your Unity Catalog managed directories. And for accessing these directories, you will need some credentials, right? Without having a proper cloud user or a service account with the appropriate permissions to these locations, you cannot access them. So for that, you can also create storage credentials. And these storage credentials are also stored in the Unity Catalog and managed by Unity Catalog. So these locations can be accessed using the Unity Catalog stored storage credentials. So these together gives you an approach to define or map your cloud storage layer with the Unity Catalog and use it for storing your data or for whatever purpose you want to use it, instead of using DBFS mounts, right? These are the alternative solution for that. So all these things that you see here on the right side of the Unity Catalog Meta Store, all these things can be secured and they allow fine-grained access control. What it means? It means simply you can grant permissions on all these type of objects from the Unity Catalog itself. For granting permissions, you will simply use grant command, SQL grant command. So you can give grant select, grant use, grant update, or those kind of grants. You might have already learned simple SQL grant commands and SQL revoke commands in any database, right? So same idea is used here. All these objects are securable with grants and revokes and privileges, and even including these storage locations. So you can give grant read-only permissions on these storage locations or tables or volumes or views or on functions to a user group, right? And you can give a different, more advanced privilege like read-write privilege on these objects to another group. So all that can be done, and for doing that, Unity Catalog also needs to manage user accounts, right? So within the Unity Catalog Meta Store, we also store all the user accounts. We usually import the users from our Active Directory or from corporate Active Directory. We bring those users into the Unity catalog, or you can also create users directly in the Unity catalog, but most likely you will bring your existing enterprise users into the Unity catalog. You will import them or you will sync them into the Unity catalog. So once users are there in the Unity catalog meta store, you can also grant privileges, different kinds of privileges, and all those privileges are also stored in the Unity catalog meta store. So Unity catalog is a complete solution for metadata management, for user management, for access management, fine-grained access control. Everything is done through the Unity catalog for your entire project, for all your environments. If you have multiple environments, it can be done for all the environments at from one centralized Unity catalog instance or Unity catalog setup. It can go even across projects. So you can create multiple catalogs for each project, and for multiple projects also you can have one single Unity catalog instance, which is managing the entire object, metadata, users, and privileges together from the single centralized Unity catalog place. So it's up to you how you want to set up in your project. But bare minimum is for an entire project, we should have catalogs for different environments and manage the entire metadata for the complete project from a central Unity catalog instance. So that's about the Unity catalog introduction. How to set up Unity catalog, how to set up tables, views, functions, volumes, your locations, storage credentials, how to create catalogs, how to import users, how to give privileges, all that we are going to learn in this section with appropriate examples. So that once you know all that, once you see those things working, it will make little more sense. So that's all for this lecture. See you in the next lecture and we will take this discussion forward. See you again. Keep learning and keep growing.